Hello, good evening, and welcome to Thingamajig's Racing Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. It has been a while since we've checked in on those League 4 racers at the URL, the Ultimate Racing League, their Sunday evening bonanza that's coming to an end. It's changing formats. So this is round 10. This is the end, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final round. 10 hard rounds of a very, very difficult season with attendance, with missing tables. It's been a tough season for our guys to keep on going. And we've obviously the talk of changes at Ultimate Racing League Sunday evening. It's been a disruptive championship. Again, I can't find a table, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know where they are. I've looked, I've hunted, I can't find them. So I'm going to say that the first 9 rounds were just qualifiers, okay? They were just a warm-up. This is the real thing. Winner takes all. Here at Spa for round 10, ladies and gentlemen, whoever takes the win takes the championship. That's what I'm putting it down to. So, you've joined us at a very exciting time where we are going to crown a champion today. I don't care. It does annoy me when there's no tables. It really does. What's the point? I don't know. So, it's whoever wins this is going to win the whole shebang, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we're going to go with it forwards at this point. So, as we say goodbye to the GRSC, let's have a look how they lined up at qualifier. I'll tell you the format. 22 laps, around 50 minutes of racing here at the Circuit Spa. And they have to use all 3 racing compounds of tyres for a minimum of 3 laps. Now, we have seen that they are mainly using the hard compound for that 3 laps and for the 3 laps only. But we've seen 1 or 2 of them take the harder laps, the harder tyres, a little longer into the race if tyre wear is an issue. So it's something we can keep an eye out now. Again, I got all excited. I wrote the grid down, and it's just occurred to me now I didn't look at what tyres they're starting on. So we'll do the grid walk, and then we'll have a quick look through to see how what tyres they're beginning their race on. Right then, let's have a look at the grid. On pole position now, I don't know if it's happened before. This could be a first in this season, but our boy Matti Alder has put it on the front, ladies and gentlemen, in the Rossi racing car. He has it's a Genesis, but it's the sponsors of the Rossi team. He's put it on pole, so looking very good for Matti Alder there to take the whole championship here. In second place, we have St. Ubs. Stu No BS on second place. Now, he was a contender. I think last time I saw the table, it did look like he was in with a chance. So he doesn't want to leave anything on the table here. He doesn't want to leave it to chance. He needs to take the win today to make sure he is the champion of League 4. Starting second, we know he is very fast. Matti Alder will have a big job keeping the Haribo St. Ubs behind. In third place, ladies and gentlemen, YT has entered the chat. YT stepping up to the mark, finding a sweet spot in qualifying and putting himself in a great position. Third on the grid and ready to do battle, ladies and gents. Fourth is Mika, winning a couple of times this season. So the opportunity, we know he has it in him to take the win when needed. And today it is needed to be crowned full champion. So Mika there in fourth place. Fifth on the grid, it's our local Twitcher. It's the Method, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Freak. And again, remember, you could have watched this race 2 weeks ago if you followed his Twitch streams, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, Method, who I've got to say, the last few races doesn't seem to be hitting the mark like he has done earlier in the season. So I don't know if it's fatigue of the long season, or maybe the car's been changed in an update to his disliking. But yeah, he's been rather quiet the last few rounds, and maybe saving himself for this last race. That's Method then in fifth. The Monk, ladies and gentlemen, the Monk is doing his usual 6th place start. You know he is going to finish in the top 3, always does. You can set your clock by it, ladies and gentlemen. He is consistent in a race, he is clever, and he keeps himself out of the trouble and finding himself in podium positions by the end of the race. So, Brian Moncani starting in the 6th place. Where will he end up? 7th then, it is the myth, the legend. It's Get Smurfed, ladies and gentlemen, GS Myth. The torturous season, one has to say. I've seen Get Smurfed race back in League 5, and he was mixing it up. But this season, if it's the car combo, I think he's not enjoyed the car. But GS Myth not quite on the pace. And we've had a few dropouts, which are people he used to race and be ahead of. So it's a little unfair. It's a little unfair this season for GS Smith. You've got to feel for him. He started the season with all good intentions for great racing. A few people dropped out, and he's been kind of left in a car he doesn't like on his own. Like a cat in a bag with a brick thrown to the middle of the lake. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you, and it's not usual, and I've heard nothing about it, so we've got an interloper. We've got someone just has shown up who's not been here before. And it's Pablo Jr. in it, ladies and gentlemen. Pablo Jr. in it, starting in 8th place. Now, wouldn't it be the most ironic, after we've set our new rule of the winner of this takes all, takes the whole thing, and Pablo Jr. in it, who hasn't taken part in any of the other 9 rounds, comes in and wins at the end. I like that. I'm hoping for it. That would be beautiful. So that's our grid, ladies and gentlemen. And while we're here, we'll have a look at the tyres. So, Matti Alder starting on pole, starting on the soft tyres. Stubbs also starting on the softs. YT, a great qualifying, but he's opting for the hard tyre in the early part of this race. Mika also on the hard tyre. Method starting on the soft, so he's going to be wanting to get past Mika and YT early doors. Brian Moncani starts on the medium tyre with Get Smurfed on the softs, and Pablo Jr. in it is starting on the medium tyres. So that is the guys then, ladies and gentlemen. It's a rolling start. 22 laps of Spa-Francorchamps in the Group 4 Hyundai. Let us begin. And Matti Alder then heading up to Le Saux. He's got a nice gap for the Stubbs. YT on those harder tyres. I mean, the first few corners, the tyres are cold. It's not going to make that big of a difference, the compounds. But, yeah, definitely halfway around this lap, YT is going to feel a bit of pressure, as will Mika from the Method when his tyres come into play. And the big... Well, already, have we got a warning? Oh, my God, Mika. He's done one corner and got a penalty. What a naughty boy. And so YT making his way through Rouge Radion, and Mika following him, but Mika has that penalty already on lap 1. Method is sitting in 5th place down the straight at the moment as Brian Moncani chases him down. GS Myth in 7th ahead of Pablo Jr. in it. And at the moment, it is straightforward for Matti Alder. He knows what he's got to do. He's got to go full pelts in all of these corners to keep the Stubbs behind. Because as soon as the Stu BS gets himself in a bit of a position where he can see some clear air up the either side of your car, you know he is going to slip one in, maybe two. You don't know. So Matti Alder has to maintain great pace in this early stage of the race to keep the Stubbs at bay. YT now starting to feel those tyres, as is Mika, and Method now closing in on our German driver Mika, who's had 2 wins this season so far and cannot be counted out of any of these races anymore. He has stepped up to the mark, ladies and gents. So Method then with the 2 hard runners in front of him and closing in rather swiftly. Is he going to go for around the outside? And he's got to think they're on the harder tyre, no grip. If he's going to opt for a move around the outside, there could be slidage into him. Matti Alder still leads from the Stu BS, and there we go, 1 move done. Oh, I think that's Mika paying his penalty, actually. Is that where the penalty line is? Surely not. So yeah, it is. Mika then paying his penalty and letting Method through and up to 4th with a clear shot at YT. YT slipping away from the leaders, and Stu BS is now closing in on Matti Alder. Matti Alder doing nothing wrong at the moment, just trying to do his race and stay ahead of the Stubbs. YT then in 3rd, he's on those hard tyres. Method and Brian Moncani all up in Mika's business now, as Mika paying that penalty but also having the penalty of the hard tyre at the moment. Brian has to think about it into the source, but thinks better of the move and just tucks himself up behind, waiting for All Rouge. We'll get alongside our jeans and plaid shirt driver. It's great, his uniform, as we go through All Rouge and follow our boy Mika. Very nice, very steady there, the Genesis through All Rouge. And along the straight, this is Brian will be trying to pick up a small toe. Brian's on the medium tyre, so doesn't have as big a grip advantage as Method may have done, and he has a sea of the space, but Mika places his car absolutely beautifully just to keep Brian Makani at bay. Then we have GS Myth in 7th. He's staying with him on the soft tyres, and Pablo Jr. in it is losing a bit of ground to the pack. Matti Alder then with the Stubbs all up in his business. YT in 3rd with Method now all up and in his rear derriere. Method, YT going a little wide there, and Method edging ever closer, and Method now making the move up into 3rd place. That's Method now in 3rd, and Method with a clear shot at the leaders as he gets himself by YT. But YT, remember, using those hard tyres, getting them out the way early doors in the race. He's going to be on a racier tyre with a lighter fuel load come the end of the race, where Method is yet to use the hard tyre. So YT and Mika, although it is they're at pain at the moment, it will be better for them later on in the race. Brian Moncani, I mean, they have weather on random, but that sky looks bluer than Bonnie and her 1,000 chums. So we're doing okay. Bluer than Mika's car, shall we say, if you don't know Bonnie. And 1,000 chums. Brian Moncani then, and YT is has dropped back towards this battle, and imagine Mika, as much as he'd like to have a go at the YT and try and get by, it's not what he needs right now. It's not what he needs. He needs clear space. I mean, a toe would help, I suppose, against the Monk, but he is under a lot of pressure, and he doesn't want to be tumbling over the Vodafone Genesis at the moment. Method getting on with the business of getting on with it as he tries to chase down Stu BS and Matti Alder. GS Smith at the moment, he's staying in about the same distance, but it does look like Pablo Jr. in it is starting to come back at the Myth, the legend. He doesn't know who he's messing with, does he? He doesn't. Oh, he's on the medium tyres as well, I forgot. So yes, GS Smith may have he may have a little race buddy today. So Matti Alder out there leading the way with Stu BS, chasing him down. We've got Method in third, trying to stay away from this little battleage. Beautiful battleage on board with the Monk. And he's having a look one way with Mika, and Mika, he really is tumbling over YT now. It's becoming detrimental to his race, having the YT in front, because he needs a little wiggle room there in front of him at least, and he doesn't need cars in his way as he tries to play the defensive game against Mika. I mean, against Brian Moncani. Then having a look, it's tight, and again, great defensive driving from Mika. YT's wide, so is Mika, and that is a huge invitation. That is a Willy Wonka's golden ticket kind of invitation for the Monk, ladies and gentlemen. And YT's give him a nudge. I'm sure YT give him a slight nudge there. Looking in the rear view mirror, we will go back and look at it, hey. So exterior view, there was a little nudge. And I mean, I don't believe YT did on purpose. That's the hard tyres and lack of grip, and YT just getting a little excited in the race. And now the myth, the legend, has got ahead of YT. Mika back up in the action. No, Mika's in trouble now from the myth. And Brian Moncani, after making a great move, has moved himself up to fourth, and is chasing down the Method. And Method still can see those leaders. Matti Alder. Oh, Matti Alder's picked himself up a small penalty. He's a very naughty boy. And the Stubbs is going to be very pleased with that. He approves. Hi, my name's Stubbs, and I approve of this penalty. So Matti Alder then picking up a naughty boy signature, and Stubbs is going to be ready to leap. Although I think that's just going to put him on the tail of him. I don't think it's going to get him past. Method as well, that's closing in the leader to him. He'll be pleased. Brian Moncani on those medium tyres, still fighting with the myth, the legend, Mika and YT. YT picking up that place again off of the myth as Smith goes out wide. And Pablo Jr. in it is still in the game. He's still with the boys. So watch this space. This is great stuff. Matti Alder out in the lead though, with the Stubbs chasing him down. Where is that penalty position? I remember not. It surprised me last time, wasn't it? It's right near the end of the lap, I think. So it's all about the Mika and the Monk at the moment. The Mika and the Monk going to town. And Moncani on those medium tyres. Again, better grip through those corners, as you see. Mika, though, with just sheer audacity and sheer grit, driving on the seat of his pants we've seen so far this season. Mika turning into a very tidy little race driver. So Mika then trying to set chase for the Monk on the faster tyre, though, unfortunately for Mika. But again, the Monk will have to use those tyres later on. So whatever pain Mika is feeling right now, the Monk is going to be getting that as well a little bit later. We're on lap 4, so these guys, I mean, I say, oh, they're in the pain of having those tyres, but they've had the choice to remove them. Now, here we go, Matti Alder. Stubbs is close enough now. He's closed in very much before the penalty area. He's prepped himself perfectly to take the lead, and he has taken the lead under the penalty system. So Matti Alder, he says he wants to speak to the stewards. I've heard on the radio he wants to speak to the stewards, a special word with the stewards after the race. And that's the Stubbs then up and in the lead, and could be crowned El Champiano in 18 laps time, ladies and gentlemen. So it's intense. Matti Alder, the faster man, setting chase. Method in third, doing well on the soft tyres after a bit of a rough qualifying. He's got himself up into the top 3. The Monk in fourth now on his medium tyres. Mika dropping behind on those hards, but he's still opted not to go in. Going very deep on the hard tyres is Mika. We've seen Stubbs, Matti, they're fine. They're 5 laps in. and their soft tyres seem to still have a bit of life in them. So I don't know. The hard runners, they may be taking the tyre a little too far, because the softs seem to be dealing with it quite nicely. I mean, if you can get those, they're easily going to get to, what, 7, 8 laps? You can get the mediums to go a little longer and still just do 3 laps on the hard. So, interestingly, the Monk, Mika, well, the Monk is on the mediums. That would be the longer run. Mika, though, I'm surprised to see him still on those hards, as I am with YT. Neither of them making their pit stop yet, going very deep into this race. Pablo Jr. in it is in the mix now, and we'll get to see what he's made of here, ladies and gentlemen, and see if he's a tidy little racer. That's what we like to see. Someone that takes their time in their craft, builds up to the overtake. Not just a hothead on the brakes. We want to see some precision driving, and this is beautiful at the moment from Pablo. He's a little wide, though. He's a little wide. Lost the downforce behind YT. These cars are so fat. They take up all the air. And GS Smith at the moment having a cracker in 6th place. And just happy to be in the mix, I am sure. And Mika, there's no sign of the Monk ahead of Mika now. So Mika, is this it for the hard tyre? Is it time to call it and move to a more faster tyre? I mean, these softs are doing great on heavy tanks as well. So the softs are doing absolutely fine. And I really do think, oh, maybe they're waiting. Maybe they're waiting. They're keeping an eye on the radar, because it does seem to have got a little darker and a little murkier out there. But this is GT7, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're leaving the weather to random, then I am saying that's not random at all. You're just not going to get rain. That is the long and the short of it. Now Mika does go in. That's it for the hard tyre. And Stu BS then leads from Matti Alder, but Matti Alder keeping a very close eye on Stu BS out there in front. Method in 3rd place. The Brian Moncani moving onwards with his medium tyres. Myth is up to 5th, with YT still going at it with his hard tyres. And now YT, it looks like the Myth got a bad drive out of the final corner. No, out of La Source, the first corner, and YT then closing in and getting by on those hard tyres. Great driving from YT then. GS Myth all up in his business in 6th place, with Pablo Jr. in it in 7th, and Mika now replacing his hard tyres onto the mediums. So a long run now from Mika, we assume, and it's going to be tricky when he's all on it. It's going to be tricky when he's all on his own and he's got no one around him. It's hard to keep pace. You've really got to focus. When you're following a car, it's not too bad. You can sort of, keep pace quite nicely. But when driving on your own, it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to start thinking about, would I have chicken nuggets or a chicken select if I went to McDonald's after this race? Would I, chicken chow mein sounds really nice right now. God, I wish I had a wee before I started. 22 laps is quite a lot. These are the things that pop into your head when you're driving around on your own. So Mika, after his pit stop, medium tyres, got to do some qualifying laps really. Stu BS still leads this race with Matti Alder up ahead. Method in 3rd. GS Smith, there's moving around here. GS Smith getting himself back ahead of YT. And YT still on those hard tyres. He really is. He's getting his money's worth out of the hards. Pablo Jr. in it is still in the mix, ladies and gentlemen. Very exciting stuff down in the mid-pack as it is up at the front. But Stu BS at the moment cracking on and getting through his tyres. I said about 8 laps, 8 or 9. I reckon they could get about 10 laps out of those tyres. YT finally pulls the trigger on that pit stop. And we assume Mika will be ahead as he was before the pit stops, and he's had a lap out on the more superior tyre than YT. YT on those harder tyres. Babley Jr. is up and into 6th in it, and GS Smith still ahead, still holding strong. 35.3 last time around from the myth, the legend. 35.2 though from Pablo Jr. in it on those medium tyres. The Monk doing 32s, mid 32s on his mediums. Method early 32s on the softs, with Matty 31.8 ahead of Stubbs, behind Stubbs, sorry, on a 31.9. So the times are tight, but it looks like Matty Alder's tyres have seen their better days. Method's tyres are absolutely pristine still. As Stubbs is about halfway. Stubbs is out. I saw that photographer get up. That's brilliant. I know they said they had animated crowds, but I've never noticed. But just as they were coming around that corner, one of the photographers stood up. How weird. So Stubbs there leads the way with Matty Alder in second. Method in third. Oh yeah, those are walking as well. Brian Moncani in fourth. Things you don't notice when you're driving around, ladies and gents. GS Smith, not that I've driven around for a while. I want to play. I've just got all these bloody streams that I have to keep doing, so it stops me from playing. I've even re-downloaded F1 23, and not to race. I just want to do some fun laps around Baku. So GS Smith then doing an absolute cracking job at the moment. His soft tyres looking rather pleasant. Matty Alder, he's definitely in touch with his pit crew. If it's not this lap, it's going to be the next, because although he's driving well, he's staying with the Stu BS, isn't he? So maybe not. Maybe, Stu's decided. It's time. The Stubbs into the pits. Alder staying out. Method. His tyres are pristine. He's not coming in for nothing. So Method will be moving up and into second. That is they are used. They are used, and Stubbs is going, 7 laps into the race isn't too bad. For the soft tyre, mediums, you can get them to go about, 12 laps, and you've only got 3 or 4 or 5 laps on the hard tyre. So now, where does this bring in? Whitey did get out ahead of Mika, ladies and gentlemen. That is amazing. Amazing stuff there from Whitey. And somehow Mika dropping behind YT there after the pit stops were done. That's brilliant. He did do his fastest lap just before his pit stop with the 34.0, and that seemed to do the business. Now Pablo's gone in on the medium tyres. Now this is very interesting. Pablo going in, the Myth's also going in, and I think his tyres still looking quite tidy. As Matty Alder then out in the lead, all by himself, all by his lonesome. Is doing a stunning job with an old set of soft tyres. Method keeping his tyres in play in second. Brian Moncani in third on those medium tyres. Do not count him out, ladies and gents. Stu BS has re-entered the fray on his medium, so he's saving the hard tyre till the very end. He's going to see how long. I bet that is someone who hasn't practiced, doesn't know how long the tyres are going to last. So is edging his bets that if he needs to use the hard tyres for more than 3 laps, he'll save until the end, and then he'll know exactly how many laps he needs to use them for. How far off am I, Stubbs? Because I used to do it. I'd do no practice, not know what the tyres. Probably start on the softs, realise they're no good, then go to the mediums and hope they last for as long as 3 laps from the end, which inevitably they probably wouldn't. But Stubbs then taking no chances, and Matty Alder, his tyres are used. His closest competitor has pitted. What's he going to do? Is he going to try and push another lap? 32.1. He was only 0.3 off of the lap before, but it does look like he is now entering the pits. Matty Alder opting to make his stop then onto, we're guessing, medium tyres, and the Monk might be the Monk and the Methods will take the lead. Method still does not need a pit stop. Consistency is key in Method's book. And at the moment, this boy is keeping his tyres alive and takes the lead of the race, with Brian Moncani moving up and into second. Matty Alder still not at his box. Stu BS coming around. No, surely he's at his box and he's already on the start-finish straight. I know you come out very much after Le Sourd, but still, Matty Alder, he's changed the tyres, but we're not sure to what until he comes out. And he's gone to the mediums. He's gone to the mediums then, ladies and gents, and he's some way behind Stubbs. Stubbs is the pit stops seem to be doing better if you do the undercut. If you come in first, it really seems to help you out. Mika losing out to YT, and I mean, Matty Alder was already behind Stubbs, but Stubbs some way ahead. Unless Matty Alder lost a lot of time on that last lap. What, 32? Oh, 2:59. What did he do? Fill up? Yeah, 2:58 for Stubbs on his pit stop lap. So yeah, that's quite a gap that's opened up between Stubbs and Matty Alder there, which is a shame because they were having a nice close race for the lead. Brian Moncani continues on. His medium tyres were not even halfway in the race yet. And the Monk not even considering pit stops just yet. Method is moving into that range. He is going to have to start debating with himself. A huge master debate he needs to have to get to a decision. And I always find that a master debate is always the easiest way to come to a decision. An internal master debate is the only way. So Method at the moment trying to decide when to change those tyres. They're all right at the moment. I mean, they are used, but he did a 33. He's been doing mid 32s or mid 32s on average. No, he goes again, ladies and gentlemen. There is no debate. There was no debating happening in that car whatsoever. And the Monk looks to be closing in. A 32.6 last time from Brian Moncani. 33.2 again from Method. He's definitely dropping off his own pace. And Brian Moncani, 32s, early 32s, is closing in on the lead. Stubbs at the moment on his second set of tyres, holding on to third place. And ahead of Matty Alder, his closest competitor so far in this race. But Moncani might be moving into the fray, but he does have a pit stop. He still has 2 pit stops to make, where Stubbs only has 1 more pit stop to make in this race. So Matty Alder also only 1 more stop. With YT, he's got rid of the hard tyres onto the mediums, absolutely having a banger of a race at the moment, ahead of Mika. And Mika was looking at like a danger at the very beginning of the race, but somewhere amongst the end of his hard run and going on to the medium tyres, he's dropped a bit of time out there. And YT at the moment, 32.7 last time around. And a 32.3 though. Mika is on the right path. He is moving on up the ranks. So GS Smith under threat from Pablo in it, but Pablo in it has Pablo Jr. in it, sorry. It's not his dad, is he? So Pablo going for a move on the Myth, the Legend, as they both enter Eau Rouge. And Pablo Jr. in it gets out of it, and the Myth comes through. And I think Pablo again, he's got 1 second penalty. It flashed like it's added to it. Maybe he only had half a second penalty, but I thought he already had 1 second penalty. But side by side all the way up of the straight, and heavy braking then, and the Myth, the Legend on the mediums with Pablo Jr. on the hards. A lack of grip there. That we can see why he slid off of Eau Rouge. And Pablo Jr. in it is really getting his elbows out with the GS Myth, the Myth on those medium tyres, and be wanting to get away from Pablo, but the Myth now only with the hard tyre left to use, and Pablo Jr. in it will be on the softs for the end of the race. Interesting stuff going on here. Method out in the lead, still on his original soft tyres. 10 laps, ladies and gentlemen. He's got out of those bad boys, and he's decided that is the time to go in. And that will be 9 laps on the mediums and 3 laps on the hards, if my calculator's right. And it is made by Apple, so it should be. So Brian Moncani leads the race. As we get to the halfway point, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Moncani yet to make a pit stop, and he may be the only one out there, I think, who has not pitted. But his medium tyres, looks like he could get those medium tyres to do all 22 laps. So the choice is going to be his. It really is. Stu BS onto those medium tyres also, looking to do a long run, and he's pulled a gap out on Alder. And Alder was in this one, but I think Stubbs, he might have a race on with the Monk, although Monk and Stubbs both have the hard tyre to use, but Moncani also has the soft tyre to use. It's I think Stubbs is still quite ahead of his teammate there. I think the gap on track, Moncani with 2 stops to do, he would lose a lot of ground. He'd be back behind Method. But he might not be. Method's gone to the hard tyre, saving the soft tyre. No, saving the medium tyre to the end. So he's just doing his 3 laps now in the middle here on his hard tyres. It's a wise move. It's a wise move. He's going to be on a more racy tyre come the end of the race. And at the moment, this middle part of the race, nothing really much happening. There's no threats in his rear derriere. YT and Mika are in their own little interpersonal battle. YT 32.4 last time around on his mediums, and 32.7 then from Mika. So these two are toing and froing with the lap times. So it's the perfect time for Method, really, to get out there. Hard tyres just for 3 laps. Remember, the guys behind YT and Mika went very long on their hard tyres. So Method only doing 3 laps on these hards, and then onto the mediums, which is what I figure he'll do. If he could get 10 laps out of the softs, he's easily going to get the 9 laps he needs out of the medium tyre. So this, I'm pretty sure he is just going to do the minimum amount of 3 laps on his hard tyre, get back in, which will put him behind YT and Mika, and Mika and YT with the soft tyre still to use, where Method will be ending the race on the medium tyre. So I do believe it's quite a gap. It's quite a gap, but Method should lose a little bit of that ground in these 3 laps. But YT and Mika may be in a position to go on the attack of Method come the end of the race, with Method being on the medium tyre and YT and Mika both being on the soft tyre when we come to the final stint. So Method there making his way around. Matty Alder lost sight of the Stubbs at the moment, and he needs the Stu BS to make a huge mistake, doesn't he? He needs Stubbs to have an off, but Stubbs unaware that the winner takes all in this race. That was a rule I made up right at the very beginning of this. So he's unaware that he could be El Champiano if he can be his teammate, and his teammate is the unknown quantity in this race, the unknown factor. Racing on the mediums, but with no pit stops yet done, as the rest of the field have all pitted. We do not know where this is going to place Brian Moncani. He's doing 31.6s, man, on medium tyres. That's, so Stubbs, though. So he's matching Stubbs on the mediums. Matty Alder 31.3. That's really good pace on the medium tyres, isn't it? Method, he's moved to the hard tyre. We're keeping an eye on him. YT's been a naughty boy, and that's going to help Mika out no end, but half a second really. It's only going to get him somewhat closer. He's still got to put the effort in himself. 32.5 last time for Mika. 32.6. There's nothing between YT and Mika in this race at the moment. It really is a high-speed game of chess between the two of them. The myth, the legend is pulled away from Pablo Jr. in it. Pablo Jr. in it using those hard tyres. He seemed to do a bit of a shorter stint on those mediums. And he's going to have to stay with the hards. I mean, we've saw Method get 10 laps out the softs. So even if he pitted now, well, he wouldn't be able to because he's only done I think he's only done 2 laps on the hards at the moment. But yeah, maybe he could get the softs to go all the way to the end. Moncani at the moment, though, still carrying on with his medium tyres. He is not relenting. He is not backing off. He is going all in with those medium tyres. We are doing short stints on the softs. He's still got 3 laps to do on his mediums, which only leaves 8 laps to do. No, that doesn't make sense. He started lap 14. No, he started lap 13. If he did 3 laps on the mediums, 16, 4, 5, 6 laps, sorry, 6 laps on the soft. So he really is. It's interesting from Brian Moncani that he really isn't giving this. I don't know. He is unknown, isn't he? But it works. It works for him. I don't think he's going to do more than 3 laps on the hards, as I don't think Method is either. I think this is going to be Method's final lap on the hard tyre. YT and Mika, they've closed in a little bit, haven't they? 33.9 from YT that time around, 33.1 from Mika. Method a 34.2. So they've closed. That was a weird sound. That was somewhere between. I don't know if it came through on the mic, but I did like a raspberry with my teeth and my cheek as I moved my lips. I kind of went like that, like a duck noise. How bizarre. That's going to make me chuckle now. I didn't know I could make that noise just by talking. I want to do it again now. Brian Moncani then. He did a 33.3. Maybe he's getting ready. He's got to be ready for a pit stop. This is ridiculous. He's got to do 3 laps on the hards. That is as spec by the rules. And he's only going to get a few laps on those soft tyres, and they do last. We saw at least 7 laps from Matti Alder, 8 laps from Stubbs, and 10 laps from the Method. And I don't know when GS Smith came in. He came in. Oh, he may have come in early on his softs. I'm not sure. Can't see where his. Oh, lap 7. So yeah. Lap 7, and GS Smith got 7 laps. Brian Moncani has only got 6 laps left. There's some naughty boys down at the back here. GS Smith with a ½ second penalty, and Pablo Jr. in it, also with a penalty, and he'll be wanting to get rid of those hard tyres soon. And the Monk then does come in. He does come in, and I think he's going to go hard tyres, soft at the end. That's I think he's going to do. Stubbs then will retake the lead of the race, but still with a stop to do, and to use the hard tyre. He saved the hard tyre, hasn't he, as our Stubbs, as has Matti Alder. These two going all the way to lap 19 then, we believe, before their final stops. The Monk in now, and Method's in as well. Method's in for his final stop though. This is Method's final stop. He'll be going to the medium tyre for the duration of the race. Mika and YT, who have not used the soft tyre, and they could. Well, 7, 8, 9 laps might be pushing it. But yeah, Mika then goes ahead of Method, and Brian Moncani, back out. And he's gone the opposite of what I thought. He's gone softs. He's gone to the softs, ladies and gentlemen. He's saving the hard tyre for the 3 laps at the end. And Brian Moncani now has gone into battle mode. Matti and Stubbs some way up the road, though, and it's going to be a big deficit there for the Monk to catch up. And these are all going to be on the hard tyre come the end of the race. It's getting gloomy again. And maybe that is why the Monk opted for the soft tyre, because he feels there might be a bit of rain before the end of this race. If he feels there's a bit of rain, then why go for the slower tyre? Stubbs then out there on the mediums. He's used the softs and now the mediums. He's got the hards to use. We don't think he'll pit until lap 19. And end of lap 19, 2021-22. Yeah, so the end of lap 19 as well for Matty Alder for the hard tyres. Chasing down the Stubbs hard at the moment. 32.0 from Stu BS last time around, with Matty Alder at 31.2. The Brian of Moncani. Monk Brian is in third at the moment. He's on soft tyres and he is chasing. He is chasing, ladies and gentlemen, the two ahead. He wants to close in, so at the end there, when they're all on the hard tyres, it's going to be a close race, but those clouds are looking very dark. Mika has got himself ahead of YT. Mika has done the impossible. YT looked like he was absolutely flaming today, lit, on fire, cooking on all cylinders. Oh, and a penalty there for YT, and it looks like he's the big dark cloud maybe distracting him, the track getting cooler, grip not being as readily available as it was earlier on these tyres, but for one reason or another. But these guys, it's still a bit long to go with the softs, and looking at the clouds, they might want to just stay out a little longer to see what the weather's gonna do. And they carry on. Mika then in fourth, with YT in fifth. Method onto the mediums there. It's putting behind the guys ahead, and they've got the soft run to do. They will be coming back at Method. It's going to be hot stuff. GS Smith there on his mediums. He's used the softs. He's not going to pit until lap 19 either for his hard tyres. Pablo Jr. now running to the end on the softs, but he's got a 1 second penalty. He's a very naughty boy. It must be the Pablo name. Stubbs then out there in the lead, looking to take everything, take it all. The whole of League 5, the final season of the GRSC, Group Racing Sunday Championship. Only 3 seasons. It got the URL revamped it about 3 seasons ago. Said this is it. We're resetting. We're redoing it. It's the GRSC. Although I noticed none of the other streamers called it GRSC. And the only one that listens. I listen in the debriefs. I always love a debrief, so I pay attention. But yeah, 3 seasons the GRSC lasted, and they're currently at the moment doing time trials to get everyone in competitive leagues with each other. It was a bit weird. They did have that, like, people had drop out of higher up leagues, League 1 and League of Champions, and drop down to League 5. It's like they've had enough, and then they wanted to go down to League 5, and then they just rip through all the leagues, winning everything, and it's demoralising for the slower guys. Or the non-alien guys. There's been movement. I saw movement. Here we go again. YT and Mika at it. Beautiful stuff from these pair. And YT out wide, unfortunately, there. And Mika then goes up ahead. Terrible camera shot. Thank you. Mika then, it is a big track. There's only a certain amount of cameras. Come on. And Mika then in fourth. YT. I mean, that's more off. And I thought he was further back than he is after going in the kitty litter, but it's all right. Mika then fourth, YT. This is a hard fight between these pair, and it could be for a podium, because you don't know how this is all going to wash out at the end here. Brian Moncani, who's doing his soft run at the moment, 31.2 from him. Matty Alder, 31.7 on the medium tyres. So that is going to be a tough one for Brian Moncani to catch up with the pace that they're doing here. Now YT's decided it's soft tyre time. He's had enough of these mediums. They're barely worn, but he's had enough of them. 8 laps to go. He feels he can get the softs to go that distance. Method then on the mediums will move ahead. Someone else has just shot into the pits, have they not? It's the myth. It's the legend. He's going for hard tyres. He's not used the hard, so he's going for hard tyres for nearly 7 laps. That's a big one. That's a big one. Those mediums barely touch, but he doesn't like them unless it's rain, unless they're seeing something on the radar. YT and the Myth may be seeing something on the radar. I don't want to be one of those guys. No, because the sun's shining in this part of the track. I don't want to be alarmist. I don't want to be one of those guys trying to create drama where there is no drama. It looks to me like there is no sign of rain. These are just normal pit stops. YT, yeah, he's opted to go to the soft tyre. He had the soft tyre available. He feels he can get it to go 8 laps now. It's the myth that I don't understand. The mediums looked fine, and now he's got to run on hards for a long time. That is confusing, GS Myth. You're going to have to explain that one to me in the comments. Pablo Jr. on his softs. He's running to the end on those softs. And all credit to the myth, the legend. He is out ahead of Pablo Jr. and with a bit of space. That's going to be tough for Jr. to get that back in it. Stubbs out in the lead. It looks like it's a slam dunk for the Stubbs. I mean, we've still got a pit stop and some hard tyres to use, but not for another 3 laps or so. Brian Moncani also saving those hard tyres for the end, and he is ripping it up, but not fast enough. Not fast enough to catch up the leaders, I would say. 2:31.4 from Stu BS, 31.1 from Matty Alder on the mediums, and the Monk, he's going to have to be doing 30s, trying to touch 29s. Matty Alder, still the fastest man on those heavy tanks from earlier in the race. So the track not really giving up. Oh, and there you go. Brian Moncani just takes the fastest lap with a 30.6, and that is the lap times that he needs. He needs to be a second faster than the guys ahead. They're all going to be making their pit stop in 2 laps time, and it's just not enough time for him to make up the ground. And his soft tyres are doing absolutely fabulous. What a waste. He could have used those earlier on his medium run. Mika is in. He's got the soft tyre to use. His races with Method and YT today. YT made that pit stop a lap earlier, so he's going to be chugging around rather fast, and we think they're going to be on the attack of the Method later in the race. Method running to the end now on a set of medium tyres. Mika will be using a set of softs, as YT is, all the way to the end. The Myth opting to go onto the hard tyre very early in his final stint, and Pablo Jr. in it on a soft set running to the end. There we go, Mika onto the softs, coming back out. Is he ahead of YT? He is, he sure is. And so Mika then gets ahead of YT in that pit stop, and I thought YT would have got an undercut there on Mika, but Mika absolutely landing that final lap, is in lap, and the pit stop doing very well indeed. And YT now staring at the back of the Gulf Genesis. Method in 4th, and that's a big distance. That is a big distance. They're on the soft tyre, but it's going to be tough to try and catch up with Method. As Brian Moncani trying to close in on the leaders at the moment. Stubbs leads the way. He's looking to make a pit stop in at the end of lap 19, so he's still got 2 more laps. He's got the end of this lap and 2 others. He'll be starting lap 18, and then he'll do lap 19, and then he must, the rules dictate, use the hard tyre for a minimum of 3 laps. So Stubbs then making his way around, only 2 more laps on the medium tyre for him. 31.8 for Stubbs, 31.5 for Matty Alder. Where is the Monk? He's coming through the chicane now to cross the line. And the pace, 30.8 is good pace, but I just don't think it's fast enough. It's a second faster than Stubbs, not quite a second faster than Matty Alder. And yeah, Brian Moncani, he's going to have to make a pit stop in 2 laps as well for that hard tyre. So he needs to get as close as he can to the leaders before they go onto the harder tyre. Method at the moment looks like he is pretty safe from the onslaught that we expected from Mika and YT on those soft tyres, running Method down on the mediums. But Method has done all the work earlier in the race and has got himself a lovely little lead there. So Mika and YT have left racing just each other. The myth, the legend at the moment, running in 7th ahead of Pablo Jr. in it. Pablo Jr. in it on the soft tyres, 33.2. Last time around from him with the myth, the legend, he was on an outlap, so it's hard to tell. It's this one we're going to have to judge him by as he makes his way to the end of the lap. And so GS Myth gets smurfed, some may call him, comes up to the line, and he cuts that one at 35, oh my gosh, 36, and he's picked up a penalty, a 36.8 there on his hard tyres, and Pablo Jr. in it is getting closer, 33.4 from Pablo Jr. in it, and we might have a race on our hands come the end here between the Myth and Pablo Jr. in it. Stubbs out there in the lead. Stubbs low on fuel, but he'll get to lap 19. Trust the system. Trust the process. So Stubbs then being chased down by Matty. Matty, he's closer, you know. I think Matty's starting to get closer to Stubbs. Maybe Stubbs keeping an eye on that fuel tank. And a bit of concern, very grey and murky out there. We'll probably get we'll get a splatter and a rain on the very final lap. You watch. The Monk then, he's on a mission, but he's running out of laps. He definitely is, because this is the final lap on these tyres, and they will have to make a pit stop for that hard tyre. And Stubbs at the moment, he did a 31.7 last time around. Matty Alder, a 31.3. Matty Alder really pushing near the end of this stint with Brian the Monk in third. 31.8, not great from the Monk. He's not catching him up in that way. And, oh my, it really is starting to look drizzly out there. I'm not seeing any windscreen wipers, so I don't think... It's just the track's going to get cold, and there's going to be a lack of grip. So Method in fourth, looking very safe in that fourth place, but he is not to pit. He might jump the Monk. He might jump the Monk, or it might be very close between Brian Moncani and Method for third place. Matty Alder looks pretty safe in second. He really does want to close up to the Stubbs, but the Stubbs has pulled out the pin of the grenade and is just about to sling it into the pits. And Moncani in third. He's going to be worried about the Method. He's got to be worried about Freak. Mika and YT, absolutely delicious racing from the pair of them. I doff my cap to both for some impressive, beautiful racing. The Myth is being caught by Pablo Jr. in it. And the Myth, I think he went to the hard tyre way too early for some reason. And like I said, I've asked him to explain in the comments. So if he watches this late, I doubt any of them watch me. Stu BS then out there, leading the way. And the rain has come, I can hear it. The rain has come, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a big question. Stubbs, Matty Alder and the Monk right on the moment of their pit stop. Do they go to the hard tyre or do they go to the Inter? How hard is this rain going to go? Stubbs in, Matty Alder in. That is perfectly timed for the leaders. That is unfortunate for those looking to pick up a bit of a look or a step. And Brian Moncani, he's pitting at the end of this anyway because he had to put hard tyres on. But I guess these guys now will go to the Inters. And it's unfortunate for people like Method, Mika and YT. This Method could have jumped the Monk. The Monk's gone through. The Monk's gone through. He's made a huge mistake. He's made a huge error. He's not used the hard tyre. Has he used the hard tyre? He's not used the hard tyre, has he? He's gone from medium to soft. Either I'm tripping, or I think the Monk's made a bad call. I think he's missed his pit stop. Oh my word. And now he's off the track because there's no grip whatsoever. Although, the tyre rule. might be out of the window, but these guys have used the hards. This is going to be a tough one for the stewards to pick this one apart, because the tyre rule does go out of the window if wets are used. But Stubbs and Alder have both gone to the hard tyre, which could stuff up Brian Moncani. Now, him not pitting for a minimum of 3 hard tyres wouldn't matter, and I think that's what he's thinking. I think he's thinking that Stu BS and Matty Alder have gone in to put inters on, so the Monk thinks, I don't have to make that final stop. If I can get around on these soft tyres at the end of this race, the tyre rule's out of the window, and I am scot-free and a free win. But the Stu BS and Matty Alder has put the hard tyres on. It's been bloody 2 weeks. I've not heard anything about this. There has been no controversy. No one tells me nothing. Telling you, I'm sick of it. It's got to be information passed, guys. So the Monk, I believe, he needs someone to go in and use a set of wet tyres, because if I'm on with the understanding, even if it rains and no one uses a wet set of tyres, oh, GS Smith having a bit of a troublesome time off the track there. So the Monk really needs someone to put some inters on. And the rain looks like it's stopped. Stubbs has got a 1 second penalty. So has Matty Alder. They've gone to the hard tyre. Method then on the medium tyre. He didn't make a pit stop, and he didn't have to. This has gone into a grey area of the rule book, ladies and gentlemen, and no one gave me a clear heads up beforehand. For heaven's sakes, no. I am going to be sending a strongly worded message to the organisers at the end of this. So Brian Moncani, maybe the wet has made it that the tyres don't even, no one's used wet tyres, so I am by the rule. Sorry Brian Moncani, I love you, I want you to win this championship so bad, but rules are rules, and no one's used the wet tyre, so I don't see how the tyre rule will be thrown out of the window. And I am crowning someone a bloody champion, and I don't know anything. Oh, God. So Brian Moncani's going to be a champion of the whole league. And I don't know if he's broken a rule or not. But Brian Moncani going all the way, it seems, to the end on those soft tyres, but struggling. He's struggling at the moment. He's got no fuel. Has he got enough fuel to get these 2 laps in? He might not, you know. He still might have to pit yet. And the shower was quick. It's still a little wet there for hard tyres, but these guys seem to be, I mean, for dry tyres, but these guys seem to be dealing with it fine. Method in 4th, with Mika in 5th, YT in 6th. I'm going to have to be steward at the end of this. If Brian Moncani crosses that line first, I'm going to have to say no. And I don't do stewarding. It looks like he's got fuel woes. It really does look like he's got fuel woes anyway. He's had to slow down. And Stubbs and Matty Alder are coming in hard and strong. And wow, what a bit of drama for the last final round, ladies and gentlemen. We all fell into a grey area of the rules there and didn't know where we were. So Brian Moncani hitting it hard, but has not used the hard tyre. Feeling that the rain may have got rid of that rule, but no one else has put a wet tyre on, and have all stuck to the tyre rule. So Moncani is looking quite wrong at the moment, and he is going slower. His fuel's out. His fuel's going to be out. He's going to have to pit anyway, the end of this lap. So Stubbs then goes through for the lead. Moncani in 2nd in a grey area indeed. And Matty Alder there in 3rd. I said it was going to be close at the end here. I just didn't know it was going to be so controversial. Method in 4th. I thought Method was going to be able to get ahead of the Monk. And I think he still may. The Monk is crawling around. Is he going to crawl around that final lap as well? He's staying ahead of Matty though. So maybe he's turned the engine up somewhat, but no, there goes Matty as well as Moncani looks after his fuel tank. And Method then in 4th, ahead of Mika, who's pulled away from YT. And then we've got the myth, the legend, back ahead of Pablo. Oh, Pablo did go in. Ooh, Pablo may have saved Brian Moncani's bacon. Someone did use the intermediate tyre. But Brian Moncani's screwed in. He's got no fuel. He's barely going to get to the end of this lap, and Method will be upon him. Maybe Method will be upon him. My word, I tell you, he's used the inters. Someone used a wet tyre, so that's got to have got Moncani off the hook, surely. I thought if no one had used it and everyone had used the rules, done the rules on the dry tyres, Brian Moncani wouldn't have a leg to stand on. But someone has used a wet tyre in this race. But then, and there was a wet track. So I was going to say, what stops someone just putting an inters on in a dry track? This is interesting. This is one that I doubt they'll put 1 minute's thought into it, because it's been 2 weeks and no one even mentioned it. So Stu BS then, looking like this one is his, ladies and gentlemen. Matty Alder in second, the Monk in third. In a grey area. I don't think it's grey. I think Pablo Jr.'s just got him right off the hook. Method in fourth on those medium tyres, with Mika in fifth. He didn't manage to catch up. The fuel is very tight for these guys, and I thought Stubbs was getting close to the line then, but he's not. Matty Alder, does he have anything to go up against Stubbs? He's not that far away. But he really needs the Stubbs to make a mistake, and I don't think Stubbs is in the business of making mistakes today. His eye is on the prize. No promotions, no demotions. It's just getting liquidated, ladies and gentlemen. This championship is all for naught in a way, but pride is nothing. Pride is something, sorry. So there is something to race for. So Stu BS then, it doesn't look like Matty's going to be able to do anything against the Haribo driver. And the Monk there in third. I think he's going to keep that third as well, because I think Pablo Jr. in it has saved his bacon. Method in fourth. Method won't be happy. He'll be up to the stewards. Come on, he'll be saying. He didn't make another pit stop. Mika in fifth. Oh, sorry, Stubbs has crossed the line. He was closer than I thought. I've gone back a whole lap. Piss off. Here we go then. Oh no, still not enough. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, through the bus stop. And for the final time on a Sunday evening, ladies and gentlemen, League 4, Stubbs takes everything. Champion, Matty Alder second in the championship. And the Monk in a grey area, but I think his safe is our third in the championship. Great stuff from the Monk there. And what a drive, third in the championship. Method brings it home in fourth. A great finish there for Method. And yeah, safe from Mika and YT. I thought he was going to be in danger there. It's put Brian Monk back, but I don't think he's broke any rules. Mika then in fifth with his windscreen wipers going. And Mika comes home fifth place. Great drive, great racing with YT and Method earlier on. And YT then coming home in sixth. Good drive there. Something happened a bit in that final pit stops. The myth, the legend, ladies and gentlemen, coming home in seventh. I said it was too early to go on those hard tyres, but it worked out quite nicely for him in the end. Oh, he's quite away. And Pablo Jr. saving the Monk's bacon there with intermediate tyres. So I believe by the letter of the law, the Monk does finish in third, even though the game's put him down to sixth. The game doesn't know what URL wants, does it? Sorry, why are we watching someone going around slow? Smith there, coming on home then into the bus stop chicane. Safe and sound in seventh in the championship, ladies and gentlemen. GS Smith has had an absolute nightmare of a season, but he's stuck with it, and that is the most important part. So yes, give him a large hand. Pablo Jr. coming in there and saving the Monk's bacon. by going for intermediate tyres. Great stuff. Great stuff indeed. And Pablo Jr. then takes 8th place, his first round. Welcome to the club. So Stu BS then takes all the spoils. He probably was championship leader anyway, in all fairness, so it's the fairest way to do it. So congratulations, Stu BS. Saint Ubs, you are our champion of League 4 and the final champion of the GRSC before it's liquidated and turned into something new. And yeah, I'll have to have a chat with the admin. I'm not sure if I'll be doing the Sundays. I'm going to have a chat. I might have a season off. I've got so many to do. I've got so many replays. I've fallen. Look, I was 2 weeks behind on this one. So yeah, I'm trying to make space, breathing room, and as it's having a revamp and stuff like that, it won't matter if I'm not doing the comms next season. Especially as it's been a tough season. This one, League 4 has been. We were down to 6 people at one point. It's been a tricky season. I lost it. I didn't even get it for one round. They all went to League 3. And Frowny got to do the stream, so it's not, you know, it's not a, I don't know how to, it doesn't seem as important to Ultimate Racing League, this league, or this Sunday league. I've been kind of left to my own devices, no information, no tables, no explanation. When I did mention that the leagues were low on numbers, and maybe they should join another one, I was just told, don't worry about it. And I thought, well, I am worried about it because I'm the one that has to talk for an hour with only 6 people on track. So, yeah, I am worried about it. And I was just told not to worry. So, yeah, probably continuing. I'm not going to be doing Sundays. I haven't spoke to them, though. This isn't the way to tell people. It's a decision I've just made right now, and I'm discussing it on stream. All right, don't worry. But yeah, I don't think I'll be covering the next ones. But it's been a great one. I want to thank Ultimate Racing League, even though I've just moaned about them. A huge thank you to they didn't organise schnizzle. It's the guys. These guys here in this league have kept this league running, in all fairness. The guys Method, Brian Moncani, Mika, G.S. Smith, YT, Stubbs, Matty Alder. There's been no outside help whatsoever from these guys. They've been left to their own devices, and they've done an amazing job keeping this league going, and I appreciate all of those guys for doing it. Thank you very much. You guys are stars. I usually thank the admin, but I'm not going to, because they didn't do anything this season for you guys. So I appreciate the guys racing, and the guys racing had to organise their own league. So I appreciate those guys as well. And there's no tables, which was terrible. What's the point of doing a championship if you're not having tables? Don't call it a championship, just call it a race each week. And yeah, it's and thank you guys for sticking with us. It's been a bit of a wild season this season, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much. That was the end of the GRSC. It kind of fizzled out there, didn't it? I don't know. Maybe the League of Champions was a bigger thing. Anyway, I didn't mean to moan there at the end. I'm sorry. It's been building all season. I've been bubbling, especially when I was told not to worry about it, and it's like me that commentates on it. And I think, what do you mean don't worry about it? Me bringing it up is the concern. That is me worrying about it. So, yeah. Cheers, guys. Turu, peace and love. Peace and love.